So, hey YouTube, my name is Chris, and this is your beautiful reading for whenever you freaking find it in 2026. And it's not sign specific, it's more of a global reading, collective reading for all signs, for all of us, humanity, so to speak. We're in this together. And it's a seismic shift year, so whenever you turn on the news, you see it. You see the old system in decay, kicking and screaming. And when I say the old system is going down, right? Everybody knows that. The old system is just completely dysfunctional, and it's not about persons, individuals, right? There are those, but the most important message that I get for you is justice and the Two of Cups, right? So yes, the old system is collapsing, but you know what? We built the new system. We're not fighting the old system. To some extent, we might have to make sure that the old system is not eating its own children, right? That would be super nice. So eventually we might have to defend ourselves, stand our ground, speak up even if our voices are shaking, right? So justice is not just coming, but justice comes when we speak up, even if our voices are shaking. So, and then there's the Two of Cups, and the Two of Cups is this story about making peace with antagonistic aspects in the world and within ourselves. So the way the devil spreads, right? The devil is this toxic, narcissistic, antagonistic energy, and it's not about the form, it's about the function. So the devil is trying to lure you in, me, everybody in lower frequencies of consciousness. So guilt, fear, shame, that's how we usually get, trapped, right? Guilt, fear, shame, that's a very strong low frequency state of consciousness, or low frequency states of consciousness, guilt, fear, and shame. And then we're played into hatred, anger, fear, frustration, and the most significant one is anger and hatred. Most significant actually frequency of the antagonist is hatred. And then you got the whole projection game, oh, it's their fault, let's scapegoat these people, let's scapegoat that people, this religion, right? It's the gays, it's the trans, it's the this, it's the that, right? And not falling for that trap, right? So making peace with antagonistic tendencies doesn't mean that you make peace with the devil, doesn't mean that you make peace with the people who are running amok, exploiting other people, starting forever wars in this world as if we wouldn't have enough of these already. It doesn't mean that you just let them do their horrible thing. It means that you stand up, speak your truth, even if your voice is shaking, and you build the new system. You uphold the principles, dignity, respect, integrity, authenticity, rule of law, human basic decency, and you're upholding your principles. You're not going down into guilt, fear, and shame. You're not lying, If they are lying, if they are stealing, if they are manipulating people, then you're not doing the same. You're upholding the principles, yet you know that these people are there, and it's not an eye for an eye, right? The Two of Pentacles is a very deep message here, especially if it's combined with justice. So if they steal, you don't steal. If they lie, you don't lie. You uphold your principles, and you're making peace with these people in the way that you're not trying to change them, because you cannot change other people. You can only change yourself. That's a very hard but very important lesson to learn and to apply in 2026. You cannot save anybody. You cannot change anybody. So you have to radically accept the world for what it is. And the world is unfortunately ruled by narcissists and psychopaths and very, very toxic, antagonistic people. But we are not going to win this if we behave the same way. So evil is not a form. It's not them. And we're the good people, right? No, it's a little more complex than that. Evil is a function. So behavior, what you actually do on a daily basis, how you actually treat people, that is making the difference. So don't fight the old system, especially don't fight the old system with their arsenal of weapons, of manipulation, of narcissistic abuse, of gaslighting, of all that jazz, right? Don't go down into the mud with the pigs. You uphold your principle, and we bring justice about, not by dismantling our own principles, not by dismantling the Constitution, not by dismantling the principles of just human freaking decency, you know? You might think, oh, these people, they don't deserve that. But we do deserve that. So we deserve not to become like them. Evil is not a form, evil is a function. And the form of evil is one-sidedness, so never forget that. So justice and the Two of Cups let's uphold our principles. And there's a lot of fear, right? Fear, guilt, shame. That's the Eight of Swords. And then there's a different choice. Upholding your principles, doing what you love to do. Joyful, creative expression. So the antagonistic tendencies in this world, it's a global reading, right? They always try to block you, take your energy away. Who do you think you are, right? Go back behind the fence with the cattle, right? That's what they're saying. Who do you think you are, right? Guilt, fear, shame, they try to play you on your insecurities. They try to play you on whatever, the weird porn that you watched 10 years ago. They try to play you on, I don't know, the most ridiculous things you can ever imagine. But if you feel ashamed, if you feel afraid of aspects of yourself, then you are manipulated. They can manipulate you in that frequency. So the one answer for this is radical acceptance of the world with these people in it, and radical acceptance of yourself, right? As a fully integrated human being. And guess what? Every human being has a shadow side, right? Guilt, fear, shame, things that we don't like about ourselves, but they are there nonetheless. And if we disown them, we sacrifice them to the darkness, and the darkness will run with it. The darkness will put all sorts of its own bitterness and hatred and wickedness into it, give it a good steer, right? And throw it back into our faces, project it upon us. And so you're constantly, if you're constantly defending yourself, if you're constantly engaging with accusations and people try to make you feel insecure or guilty or ashamed, I'm telling you not to defend, not to engage, not to explain yourself, not to personalize. Inner mastership, that's the big message here. Beautiful Empress energy shows up all the freaking time in 2026. Inner mastership, knowing yourself with your shadow aspects, not, just the lovey-dovey parts of yourself, but including that weird porn that you watched 10 years ago, including this and that, including wholehearted being, right? The wholehearted being that you are. You're okay, you're wonderful. Just know yourself and act accordingly. And you have a choice to make here. What shall it be? Guilt, fear, shame? Or do you say, I can love myself with all of these shadow aspects, and I can just stand up and do what is right. Nobody can play me, nobody can manipulate me, nobody can blackmail me, because I know my own shadow aspects, right? And nobody can play me. And the devil, the antagonistic tendencies, they are there, right? And you're not going to change them. I'm not going to change them. We're not going to change these people. They are just there, and they are on their particular state of consciousness, and they might be a little behind, but we're not going to change them, right? They either change themselves or they're not going to change at all. So what we do, most important for everybody, no matter your sign of the zodiac, no matter when you find this reading, Global Reading 2026, what we are doing, we are upholding our inner mastership, right? We know ourselves, and we not deal in lies when others deal in lie. We don't deal in manipulation when others deal in manipulation. We're not lying when others are lying. We're not going an eye for an eye, Old Testament BS. No. There is a better way. You know the better way, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Buddha, whether it's Krishna, whether it's this or that, whether it's Brahman, whether it's unity consciousness, there is a better way. And this is not about negation, but about transcendence and integration. And that's how we win. We're not fighting the old system, we're building the new system. There are we, building the new system. 8 of Pentacles, we got work to do, and joyful work, right? So instead of avoiding negativity, we're creating positivity, right? There's this unexpected thing. Life should be joyful. Life should be an adventure. Life should be not agonizing, not slavery, not, guilt, fear, shame all the freaking time, but joyful, loving creation. And the most important thing is to come back to yourself every freaking day. You do breath work and you do meditation. I'm telling you this. It's going to transform your life if you really do that. You can watch a billion, gazillion tarot card readings, but you have to actually change your life and do something to work with your consciousness. And what you do every day, and this is what I'm preaching in all of my freaking readings on this channel, you do breath work, you release negativity, 10 seconds in, 20 seconds out. If you can't do that, then do 7 seconds in, 14 seconds out. There are apps for that, right? So you can visualize the in and the out breaths and literally per second determine how much you want the in breath, how much you want the out breath. If you are in a totally balanced state of consciousness, you can do 1-to-1, right? 15 seconds in, 15 seconds out. But if you are in a lot of stress, if you're in guilt, fear, shame, if you are surrounded by narcissistic people who try to play you into guilt, fear, shame, true guilt, fear, shame, they usually try to get you into a state of hatred, and nobody can live in a state of hatred, so you are offered then with a scapegoat. Oh, it's these people, it's that religion, if you just get rid of them, that's done everything. That's a lie, right? You have to transcend and integrate your shadow and release negativity. Breath work, that's very important. Do it for 5 minutes if you've never done it, and 5 minutes just sitting there in silence with yourself. Can you do that? A lot of very powerful people who call the shots externally in the outside world are literally incapable of sitting in silence, in absolute silence with themselves for 5 minutes. Just standing themselves and their inner state of consciousness. Can you do that? Live your life in a way that you can. To get there, release negativity. Don't behave like the narcissist. Don't behave like the toxic person. And it's time to come out of our shells a little. 2, 4, 6, 8. And 2 more, and we're good to go. There's the Hierophant. Hierophant and the 5 of Wands. Bottom of the freaking deck is the Emperor. But the Emperor is the bottom of the deck, right? The center of the reading is the Empress, right? So you got the Emperor and we got the Emperor and the Empress here in this global reading. The big message here is that we are the agents of change, right? And we're working on that change. And the best way to do that is to focus everything you've got to stabilize your inner consciousness, self-mastery. You don't need to tell other people what to do. You kind of living that by example. So that's kind of a byproduct. You know, we are leading by example. We're not leading by force. The antagonist is leading by force. We're not leading by lies or manipulation or guilt, fear, shame. That's what the antagonist is actually doing. We are leading by authenticity, by integrity, by not dealing into all these shady tactics, guilt, fear, shame, lies, manipulation that the antagonist is dealing into, right? We're not going an eye for an eye. We are upholding our own principles and we speak up even if our voice is shaking. And it is time to come out of our shells a little bit and focus more on joyful creation, what you want to create. Give that loving attention on a daily basis. Don't fight the old system, create the new system. That's the big message here. And we got everything we need to do this. There's the Page of Cups. It might be a little unexpected. What is super important here, since 2008, I talk about this because it's important. Pluto used to be in Capricorn since 2008. So it was all about the intellect. It was all about willpower. It was all about force, right? Forcing things to happen. There used to be a lot of resistance. But now we have a different option. So it can just be, if we come in contact with our true, authentic inner core, and we cultivate peace and joy in that inner core of our consciousness, and we express that inner joy through what we're doing, right, on a daily basis, then we're not just leading by example. We kind of become some sort of teacher. We're doing the good work, the great work, I might add, right? And we have fun and joy and happiness in the process. But I say this again, Pendragon Sword, that's very important, powerful message here. I'm going to read this to us, to you. Balance, right? Not fighting windmills, not fighting aspects of our own, not trying to negate stuff. We're not trying to shove stuff under the rug. We're getting it out there from under the rug. We have a good look at it, right? And we sorted out what is just a projection from other people towards me, what actually does belong to me. Do I have to take responsibility for something of that guilt, fear, shame, shadow aspect of myself, right? Then by all means take responsibility and take care of your own shit, right? Take care of it, deal with it, own up to it, if there is indeed something to own up to, and then make it better. And if you're capable of doing that, nobody can play you, nobody can manipulate you, and you have the inner strength and courage and integrity and authenticity to say no if somebody, tries to play you, tries to manipulate you. Somebody who lives in guilt, fear, shame might not say no to evil things that he is asked to do, right? But if you did your homework, and it's a daily freaking practice. Every day breath work, 10 seconds in, 20 seconds out. The out breath needs to be twice the in breath, so you're releasing negativity, and then the same amount of time in meditation. If you do that every day, we cannot fail. So there's the Pendragon sword, balanced power. This consecrated sword represents balance, power, and wisdom, qualities bestowed only to those who have earned them. This is a confirming coming of age for you. This is a coming of age for you. Much can be accomplished now with relative ease, provided you remain balanced and grounded. You are bestowed the power of dragon, ruler, king, and magician. This great honor and privilege is also a great responsibility. You can hold this power indefinitely for as long as you honor, respect, and use it wisely. Every odd atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. Whatever that means. So, balanced power, right? That's the Two of Cups, right? Balanced power, even in the sense that you accept that there are people who are just beyond repair in this world. So stop trying to repair the people who are beyond repair. P.S. You cannot change other people, you can only change yourself. That means to accept that, radically accept the world as it is, full of narcissistic, Neanderthaler, psychopaths, you name it, right? Who have not the same level of decency, of integrity, of values, of ethics, of understanding, of functionality, of introspection, of willingness to learn and grow like others, right? And they're not winning. They're only winning if the good people allow them to win. But if the decent people accept them for who they are, accept that they can't change these people, and just keep going into the right direction of integrity, of building the new system, working on what makes sense for all of us as a community, as humanity, justice, decency, and, joy. Absolutely joy in what it is that you're doing. Let's just do a few more clarifiers because that's really big. Joy, right? That's the Six of Cups. Remember joy. That's a super important aspect here. Trust your intuition. Leave behind what no longer serves you, right? Maybe the narcissistic people build a great career for you where you can kill yourself trying to make it in, right? There's something better for all of us than just living paycheck to paycheck while the richest people the richest 1% owns more than 93% of the population. Yeah, and you should it's just mind-boggling, right? It's completely perverse, right? So if you watched weird porn 10 years ago, that's not half as bad as 1% of the population owning more wealth than 93% of the rest of us. Fuck it, right? So don't bring yourself into hatred. Even if you think about these stuff, it's important to know how bad the world can be and how bad the world is. Not fighting these people in the sense that you behave the same way. That's very important. And the emperor needs to have a little fun. Remember joy, joyful, loving creation. And if you are in a balanced state of Philautia. Philautia is this concept where there's this balance between egoism and altruism. You need egoism, this one-sided paradigm that they kind of sold us, which is completely distorted. I don't think any master of any religious system ever talked about that in a one-sided way, but it was kind of sold to us in that one-sided way. So it's not about loving thy neighbor as thyself. It's not either or, it's freaking both. So you need to respect yourself, respect your boundaries, respect your shadow, integrate your shadow, not cutting something off away from you. It's never working. You're just offering to the darkness. No, you bring it back, you look at it, Tattvamasi and that too, and you integrate and you transcend it and you heal it. That's how we learn and grow. So Philautia, that's that concept of self-love, egoism and altruism, not either or, one-sidedness. That's evil is always one-sidedness, right? So it's not either or, it's both. I think that's what Jesus said, and I think that's what Buddha definitively said. And that's definitely not what these shady, antagonistic people say. For them, it's always one-sidedness, and for them, it's always one-sidedness in a extreme. Whatever form this extreme takes doesn't matter. Whether it's this political side or that political side or this religion or that religion, as long as it's one-sided and in the extreme, we don't like that, right? Evil is not a form, evil is a function. And the form of evil is one-sidedness, and the function is negation. Never ever forget that. Write it down. I'm going to repeat that like 100 million times till you freaking get it. But you're not just getting it, you're living it, you're internalizing it, and you practice it on a freaking daily basis. That's how we win. So one more. Animal Oracle deck card. There is the Peace Angel. There's the Peace Angel. Dove, Spirit, and let's just take two. Lizard Spirit. Dream the world into being, and Peace Angel. So, yeah. Be peace, don't fight windmills, don't fight the narcissist. Love yourself, integrate your shadow aspect, do that on a daily basis. Joyful love in creation. That's how it works. And that's all I got, my friend. Navdaya. Share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. There's a summer reading, a global summer reading. There's a global yearly reading for 2026. Check that out. If you want the full picture, your sun, moon, and rising sign is always there for you. And hopefully see you next time. Now, my friend. Ciao.